Jim Carroll, Ralph Baber, psychology takeaway. You need a dose of the real. Life's absurd. We know the deal. Did you hear? Don't let it get you down. Turn that frown. Upside down, down, upside.
Oh, hi, Ralph.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm okay. And you notice I'm not wearing my Detroit Lions regalia here today?
I did notice that. And
Lions are out of the hunt.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's unfortunate for the Lions fans. Those who are not Lions fans may be cheering in the background, but
And a few coaches, I think it's unfortunate for also. Oh, well. Hey, there's always next year. Or
Right.
actually, it's this year, probably
this year,
starting in
yes.
August, right?
Yeah, starting in August.
So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to in 2026, a Super Bowl victory for the Detroit Lions.
Well,
Am I optimistic?
life exists in hope.
Very good. Now, one of the things that you and I have talked about, Ralph, is just kind of the opposite of that, and that is we're seeing something in the country, kind of a malaise that isn't that optimistic.
No, a lot of people are experiencing, for a great variety of causes, serious anxiety.
Yeah.
And, some of it is warranted. A lot of it is warranted. Some of it we might end up later on in the discussion talking about Stoicism and how it helps mediate anxiety. But one of the things that a lot of people think that they fear for 2026 is AI anxiety.
I went to Chat GTP yesterday and I asked, what are the things that are causing anxiety? Because you had mentioned that before. And Chat gave me a list, but nothing there about AI.
Well,
Could have been a little self-serving, I suppose.
yeah. 72% in a survey of U.S. adults are worried about its economic effects, and 47% fearing for their job security.
Ah, okay. So they're not thinking about AI taking them prisoner and putting them in a cage or anything like that.
No,
Oh, okay.
this
Right.
is
Economic.
and basically, when you think of it, we've already seen examples of not AI as we know it now, but how many times when you go into a supermarket or some other store, do you find that there's 3 cashiers who are actual human beings and a whole line of automated checkouts?
Oh, yeah. Very much.
And so that's AI in its most simple-minded,
primitive form, yeah.
Primitive form.
Yeah.
So you have to say, well, if you have a job that could be automated like that,
Yeah, it could.
do you have justified concern about?
I think if I were a paralegal, working for a lawyer and doing, the kind of work that paralegals do, research and stuff like that, I would be concerned
Yeah.
because, AI can do this in a boom moment.
And the thing is that we still get at, when you go on AI and ask it a question, and it gives you, 2 pages worth of an answer. And then at the bottom, it says AI can
Can make mistakes. Yep.
And I think we won't see paralegals being done out of their jobs until we get the little thing at the bottom that says AI never makes mistakes.
Yeah, good luck with that one, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, yeah, so I can see that people can, be concerned, for losing their jobs. But it looks like this angst that we're seeing is kind of more global than that. Now, this morning, we stopped for our coffee. We talked to the manager of the gas station where we get the coffee, and we asked, are you anxious about 2026? And she said, yes, I think she was much more emphatic than that, but said, yes, I think everybody's anxious about that. And so we asked her, what the nature of her anxiety was. Her anxiety had to do with economic or financial security. In particular, she said she was worried about her kids. And I thought that was kind of interesting. In 2025, if you were worried about your kids, it was because your kids were saying 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, in the classroom, or they were spending too much time watching, stuff on TikTok. But she was coming at it from a different point of view. She says, and this is a manager of a relatively prosperous store, and she was worried about being able to feed her kids. Now, in America, Ralph, we've never really had that kind of worry, have we, up to this point?
1930s.
1930s, the dirty 30s. Yeah, that's okay. So that's a long time ago. That's almost 95 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing is that people today do not, there's nobody alive today who remembers the 1930s. Our parents who grew up with their parents in the 30s maybe put away more food, continued to grow vegetables, even though they could get them at the grocery store cheaper maybe than they could grow them. And you'd say to them, why are you doing that? Well, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, today, nobody remembers.
Right.
And the norm is, what do you mean I can't afford beefsteak? I should be able to afford beefsteak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, you're on a hot dog budget, And the thing is, a lot of people are right. Because inflation has gone up to such an extent. Now, let me tell you about a conversation that Jim and I had the other day. He was telling me that in 1969, he and his wife had a combined income of about $30,000. So he said, what do you think that would be worth? And I said, I don't know. It's got to be at least $90,000. So I went home and I asked AI, in 1970, what would an income of $30,000 be today?
I'm going to be really interested in hearing this answer, Ralph.
$270,000.
Woo.
So that tells people what the extent of inflation or the lowering of value of money has happened since 1970. So we're talking about 30 and 26, 56 years.
Very good. You were able to calculate that very quickly.
Very quickly. So 56 years, and the value of money has gone from able to buy a house at $30,000 to not able to buy a house at $270,000.
Right. Okay, good point. The house that we're in right now is a very nice house. It's not a heck of a lot nicer than the one that we had in New Jersey, but it sure cost a lot more. Last time we, plunked down some cash to buy a house. So, it's real. The economic pinch that people are experiencing is, a real thing. Now, our manager said, and I think she was serious about this, Ralph. Maybe you could comment. But she said that she'd steal in order to feed her kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
I was going to suggest that she just not go into the middle part of supermarkets where all of the expensive stuff is and begin to shop the edges where there are fresh fruits, vegetables, and reasonable amounts of protein, which is kind of like RFK Jr.'s new nutritional guidelines.
Yeah, which sounds very much like the Mediterranean diet: fresh fruits and vegetables, and eat as a family, eat more slowly, that sort of thing, and cook things from scratch. I mean, buy carrots and cook them rather than saying I'm going to buy a bag of steamables and microwave them.
So we're seeing, something optimistic coming out of the morass of Washington these days. And, the thing that was interesting to me, Ralph, is that you mentioned Mediterranean diet. And we do have the book. What's the name of it again?
Protecting Your Family's Health.
Protecting Your Family's Health, that Ralph and I have out in a PDF format. It is not available on Amazon. But if you would like to get a copy of this in PDF format, just send me an email. That's Carro, Carro, 1JL, at cmish.edu. And we'll put that up in the show notes also. And it'll give you a number of tips that will help, well, if not necessarily help the anxiety that you're experiencing with your kids and your family. It'll help you, nutritionally and in some other ways too. There was an assistant manager there too, and so we talked to her a little bit. And the thing that is of concern to her is her dad's health. Remember that, Ralph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that we look at now is shifts in healthcare where we are now starting to see a much greater emphasis on preventive and continuous care.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, I go in to see my doctor once every 3 months.
Okay.
I do that as a form of preventive care. And I'm fortunate that I have health care, and so I don't have to spend,
a lot of money.
a lot of money. I mean, my copay is there, but it's not like I suddenly get hit with a $200 bill for seeing my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things...
Which I got hit with just the other day for seeing my doctor, and that was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Normally it hasn't been like that. Now it's different.
So if you run a business, one of the things that they say now is that your health care for your employees is going to go up 10% in 2026.
Okay.
Now, if your margin of profit is 4%,
You're not in good position, are you?
no. So,
Like,
my wife Karen was talking this morning and saying that the Affordable Care Act has passed one house and may or may not pass the other. And for a lot of people, that's going to be a good thing.
mm-hmm.
And I'm in favor of anything that helps people with health care bills. Now, there are a couple of reasons I think that health care has gotten so expensive. One of them is that we have better drugs, which are often quite a bit more expensive. And the other is that a lot of doctors are practicing CYA medicine.
Defensive medicine, yeah.
Yeah. And so they're saying, I'm 99% sure that what you have is X, but I'm going to give you test so-and-so to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, test so-and-so costs you $1,000.
Yeah.
And your health care says,
No, not
No,
so much. Yeah.
not so much, you know. So, how do we get to the point where doctors stop playing defensive medicine and start saying, we're going to treat it this way?
Okay. Yeah. The answer, I guess, is yeah. We're going to have to start looking at questions like that, and the concerns that people have, Ralph, are they're more local concerns. They're not global. I've not talked to anybody in the last while. Students have not been around here at the university, so I haven't not talked to them. But people are not really concerned about what's going on in Venezuela. People are not really concerned about the degradation of the coral reefs or the effects of climate change. Although that's what we hear if we turn on CNN.
Turn on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, Jim, is I found a source which I think is credible.
Good luck with that one, Ralph.
Yeah, which said overall, in the last 50 years, global temperatures have gone up 0.1%.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that climate is always changing. So if it had gone up 5%, I might say, oh, that's a justifiable concern. But 0.1%, I mean, that's less than happened at the beginning of the first ice age, when it went down about 10% per year for 1,000 years.
I don't remember that. That's far back in my memory database here. Yeah, but
so the thing is that what I'm saying is global concerns like that, I think, are sometimes greatly exaggerated.
Okay. Yeah.
But that leads us to another interesting statistic, which is now we're facing in the U.S. general pessimism.
Yep.
89% of Americans anticipate political conflict in 2026, and 68% expect economic difficulty. So, a widespread sense of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
so I think that's really where the psychology of the whole thing is. When you're in this condition of uncertainty, that's breeding grounds for anxiety. And hey, we can help you with that, folks. Let's see if I can get a shot of this thing. Let's see. Where am I? There it is.
overcoming anxiety.
Yep. Alex is not around to help us with the controls here, so we're on our own here today, Ralph.
Right.
Okay. So you can get yourself a copy of this. Finding Calm Even When Everything Feels Out of Control. If anxiety is holding you back, whether it shows up in social situations, public speaking, or the fear of what's next, this book is for you. That's what the author says.
That's a good thing.
Okay, who's the author of this turkey? Oh, James Carroll. Okay.
So that would
there
be
you go.
you.
That would be, and it's available now on Amazon. Just like another one that is, I do not have my author's copy yet, but Diagnosis Autism, The Parent's Guide, is now out, also, Ralph.
That's another good thing.
Okay. Now, we've gone here for about 20 minutes, and we've identified economic and social issues that are bothering people, worrying people. What do you say we break at this point, Ralph, and do a part 2? We'll do it now, but we'll put it up next week.
Okay, that sounds like a fine plan to me. And one of the things that we can talk about is some other things that people are anxious about, and then how do we deal with it?
Okay, so see if I can get this thing working here. Press this. Okay, until next time, this is Jim
And Ralph
saying,
say,
keep your stick
"Get
on the ice.
because we're all in this together. So no, we don't want to make it.